I'm going crazy. 무뎌져.
Wearing a long black coat or his black tight shirt and pants with a mask and a hat holding gun in his hand, he walked in anger on the street. Because of evening time, there were not many people around. He was in search of a person who betrayed him and now ran away from his basement prison. His people all spread in that area. He pressed his finger or his earpiece and talked to his people in his soul, piercing, rolling voice. And that's my last warning to you all. Don't let him run away this time, or this will be the last evening of your life. While ordering them, he was looking at his surroundings when a kid suddenly came out of a cafe running to the main road. Jung panicked watching a truck coming from the other side of the main road. The kid was in his own world running. Jung started to run to the kid. The truck was so near, and before he reaches there, the truck has already reached the kid. He didn't cover his eyes to not see this scene and didn't even yell because he was the cold-hearted mafia who only know how to be cruel. But as the truck passed, he saw a girl lying on the side of the road with a little kid in her arms securing him. That kid's mother came running out from the cafe, crying for her child. She held her kid from that girl's arm and helped her to get up. Looked like she injured her leg. Thank you so much. God sent an angel at the right time to save my child. I don't know how to thank you. She cried, hugging her crying child on her chest. That girl smiled, and it was like her smile made everything so warm and cold, both around me. Her presence was only enough to make you feel at peace. She patted the woman's shoulder. It's okay, miss. Please take care of this little human. She pecked that kid's head and left while holding her arm and having a little difficulty in walking. She was wearing a long white frock, but it was stained now. She had a mole just upon her upper lip. Boss, Jungkook's man came running to him and calling his name, but he was just looking in one direction until Ryan kept his hand over Jungkook's shoulder. Jungkook was about to attack the person but stopped, seeing it was his man. What happened, boss? Who was there? He asked, gesturing in the direction Jungkook was looking in. Jungkook again looked at the side you went to but then shook his head. No one. I mean nothing. Ryan got confused but then didn't mind to ask again. Oh, I have a good news for you. Jungkook raised his eyebrow in a mischievous manner. We caught him. Ryan smirked and Jungkook too, patting Ryan's shoulder. Excellent. Let's go. I would like to meet our special guest again. Just then a white Mercedes-Benz AMG GT stopped beside them. Ryan opened door for Jungkook and Jungkook sat inside with Ryan. Jungkook entered the basement center with Ryan beside him and already his other man guarding the place. There was an injured man standing with his head low. His hands and legs were tied with chain. Jungkook removed his coat, handing it over to a man standing there. Placing his hands over his vest, he chuckled at the tied man's condition. He thought running away from me will save you. Jungkook looked at him with his piercing eyes. That man looked up with his face full of injuries and blood dripping from his side lips. Then why don't you just me? He asked Jungkook with angry voice but got a hard punch on his face that his whole body got disbalanced. After betraying me, you think I will easily? You. That man spit more out. Jungkook gritted his teeth and kicked in his tummy that his body got pushed back with his head. Standing in front of him, Jungkook held his hair to turn his face to look at him. Now quickly tell me, who was the mastermind behind it? That man started to laugh more, making Jungkook angry, but Jungkook took a deep breath. You yourself have given a perfect training to you every man. Do you forget, Jun? I'm one of them. I will not say a word, just finish me. He said with hatred and no guilt of betraying his own boss. Ryan got angry and slapped him hardly. Is this how you will pay off our boss after giving you a normal life? Ryan said, but Jungkook told him to back off. A normal life? What a joke. The salary you were giving me was only not something in which I had become rich, and they gave me millions just to spy on you. So they bought you just in millions. Jungkook was in his own thoughts, thinking how to make him say all things. Because now he was thinking how will his man will say his secret if they got caught, and an idea came in his mind. Ryan, Jungkook called him and he walked to Jungkook just standing beside him. Jungkook said something in his ear. Ryan smirked and nodded. Let's see now how much you can bear the hell involved. Saying this, Jungkook started to beat him, taking his all anger out. In few minutes, Ryan came back. Jungkook was whole sweaty. He brushed his hair back and walked to Ryan. Ryan held an iPad in front of him, telling him something. Good. Jungkook caught the iPad in his hands and walked to the man. So you will not say anything? That man shook his head in no. Jungkook nodded and showed him a footage playing over iPad. What about now? As the man looked at the screen, his eyes widened. He started to tremble to get out of the chain. No, leave my son. He's only 4 years. The screen was showing his son, who was in kindergarten right now, and Ryan sent a man to him there to have a video call. But boss, someone was saying he will not say a word. Then what's his need and his generation? We can finish it off, Ryan said without any emotion. Man was shaking his head, watching his little son on the point. That's right, Josh. Finish that kid and Harold finish his father. He ordered his man who was with the kid. Jungkook got from Ryan, but no, I will tell you everything. Don't do anything to my son, please. He begged them, crying miserably. Jungkook gestured Ryan to take the iPad away and turned to face him. Speak. At night, Jungkook with his mans behind him entered a luxurious club which was controlled by some powerful rich people, but not more than him. Loud music was playing that was echoing in all directions. Rich people's kids were there dancing and wasting their youth. Jungkook was eyeing every person around them. Suddenly his eyes caught a group of females who were getting pushed by a man while going in a direction. His eyes were fixed on a figure that was looking similar from behind. He was about to walk there, but he got stopped by a person. Mr. Chon, what an unpleasant surprise, he said in a sarcastic way, making Jungkook scoff at his behavior. Where is your boss? David looked at Ryan, as he was also right-hand man of the owner of this club. For what? Don't question her. Ryan moved forward, threatening him. They glared at each other. Show us the route. Jungkook spoke, standing between them. David nodded, walking ahead. Ryan followed him with Jungkook beside him. David brought them to a weird place. Jungkook looked at Ryan with a cautioning face. Ryan leaned to whisper in his ear. This is underground stripper club too, but not many people know about it. They hire them? Ryan scoffed at his words. They hire less and kidnapped simple, lonely girls and brought them here. Jungkook's fist clenched, poking his inner cheek. Welcome, welcome. We are so happy to see such a big personality. Jungkook rolled his eyes, knowing it's just a fake smile and gesture. Mr. Caleb, the owner of club, famous for his illegal business related to underworld and mafias. May I know the reason of your visit? Asked, like Jungkook was his favorite idol. Ryan stood in front of him and looked at the stage where were getting lined up to see the diamond show. Caleb smirked, hearing words. Diamond show mean they were here to buy one of them in auction. My player, please have a VIP seat. He brought them to a VIP corner from where everything was clearly visible. Jungkook sat and also gestured Ryan to sit with him. I thought we'll get a way to finish them easily. He suggested an idea, but Jungkook kept quiet, looking at front. One by one, they started to bring girls around the age of 18 to 25. Most of them were getting forced to even stand. So gentlemen, the diamond of the day is here. Gentlemen, my foot. They are called gentlemen to be here and do this sin. What do you mean by diamond? The most beautiful and expensive one. Saying this, he scoffed and looked at the stage, but seeing the girl, Jungkook's body stiff on its place, his eyes started to become red. What a pity, she doesn't even look in her senses. They must have her. He spoke, but as he looked at his boss, who was not moving an inch and averting his gaze from the girl. Boss, what happened? But the words Jungkook said made Ryan shocked. Today's diamond is mine. But boss, her name is Ryan and she is 21-year-old. Isn't she a beauty? He said, eyeing her figure. Jungkook gritted his teeth and someone started an auction, making him more angry. $1 million. Wow, what a beautiful start. And $2 million. And so on. They were yielding the price and auction time was going to finish. $10.5 million. Anyone else? It's just 10 seconds left. He was about to finish it when $20 million. Everyone looked at his direction. Ryan was also shocked. His boss was never into these things. He respected women, but now why? And our today's diamond goes to Mr. Zone. David and Caleb smirked, thinking of having a big amount. Come with me, do as I say. He said to Ryan, getting up from his seat and going to David and the girl. Ryan gestured the men to be ready. Hand her over, my man will pay you. David happily handed Vian's almost unconscious figure in Jungkook's hand. He picked her up in bridal style and walked down. But while walking down, he said something that was heard by his mans in earpieces. Free all the ppers and lastly finish him off for trying to spy on me. You felt a terrible pain in your head. Hissing in pain, you sat up on the soft slumber. When you opened your eyes, you witnessed a beautiful but simple bedroom. You remember you were brought in a Swiss club after suddenly getting kidnapped while going back to your dorm. But then, how you came here, you slowly glide down from bed. You were wearing a simple long dress of light pink color that was hiding every inch of your body. You go up walking to the door and opening the room door, but you flinched as you saw a handsome man, a tall man wearing full black clothes standing in front of you. You got scared, but he spoke. Hey, you don't need to be scared. I'm Ryan, our boss special man. You tilted your head thinking, now who is his boss? Please sit back. You need to eat the food and then medicine the doctor recommended. He gestured you and you slowly sat back. You were looking down, thinking, it's okay, no need to hesitate. You can ask anything from me. I have a sister just of your age. He smiled, giving you assurance with a thumbs up. You felt relief hearing respectful words about women, or before you went into the club, they only know how to insult and use a woman. Who are you and why I'm here? I was at the club. He asked in slow and calm voice because somehow you were getting positive vibes. Ryan rubbed back of his neck. Actually, our boss brought you here. We were there for his enemies, but he found you there. He was somehow happy that his boss brought you. Now his boss will not be alone. Can you please come with me to dining? Boss is waiting for you to have breakfast with him. He looked down thinking. Ryan thought that somehow you will be scared because of the place you were before. He will not do anything bad. He's just cold-hearted, he said with a little embarrassing smile. Sometimes the most cold-hearted and antisocial person in the world is more often is the person who has biggest heart. Ryan smiled at your positive answer about his boss. You made him happy. I am happy he brought you here. Let's go. He said in excitement, ready to see you meet his boss. He was already shipping you with his boss. You reached a dining table where female and male house helper were standing. One of the female house helper must have changed your clothes, you thought, and stood beside the table. Then your eyes met a person sitting on the biggest chair, which was giving you a royal type vibe. His eyes were dull and big, but they were showing cold emotion, like he is just describing himself cold, but in reality there is no cold, just a lack of heat. This is the result of too much love being put out and not enough love given back. And the cure wasn't a normal medicine. You can sit. You heard his voice that gives chills to you. You saw Ryan was already settled on a chair. You also sat and I made camp to you serving food. So you are the cold, heartless boss, you said, making Jungkook looked at you with a raised eyebrow. He then looked at Ryan, who was looking down and drinking soup like he isn't even there. I'm not heartless. I have just learned how to use my heart less. He said, looking at you with still cold features. You put a smile on your face. I know that. I was just saying other words. But I wanted to thank you for saving me from death. Ryan told me about it. He placed the fork down. Cleaning his mouth and hands with handkerchief, he finally looked at you and spoke. No need for it. If you want to leave, you can. No, you said, making him stop from getting up from his seat. You gulped. I don't have a shelter to live. I'm an orphan, and the dorm I was living in before, the owner of it was going to kick me out anyways. So what? You can stay here. Take it as your home, Ryan said, earning a glare from Jungkook. Whatever boss say. Jung got up from his chair and you pouted, thinking now you have to find a place to live. Take the room you are living in and help the house helpers in arranging library books from now on. Saying this, he left. Ryan clapped his hand, making the house helpers around him giggle. Yes, now boss will not be alone. High five, he said. You slowly high-fived with him. He is such a kind person. What is he? His profession. Now everyone became silent, like no one was standing there, only you. You were standing in home library and doing the work that was assigned to you, and a house helper named Rania was helping you in it. But Mayan, don't you get scared after knowing he's a mafia? He asked, still astonished by your behavior. While you picked a bunch of books, placing them in shelves. No, because you already proved he isn't a bad person. How? Now you stopped and looked at her. Because from the place he brought me here, he has all rights to do anything with me. He paid for it. But he didn't even touch me, and the most biggest thing he gave me, shelter to live. These days, who do this for a stranger this easily? Rania's mouth was open. Oh, so you mean he likes you? She said with a mischievous smile, but you hit her head with a little book in your hand. No, I mean he have a kind and big heart. From where did liking thing came up? Ryan told me his boss saw me on that stage first time. Yeah, then how will he like you? That's the point. Now hand me that book. She smiled and gave you other books. Everyone around you was enjoying your presence. That makes you happy. Some days pass, you start to know about more things in Mafia's world, how Jungkookff work, how much time he take, and where he go. Ryan always spent some time with you, telling you about what they did all the day and how his sister wanted to meet you. While Jungkook, he always tried to be distant from you. Many times you go to his office to give him books and files and also take care of him when he fell asleep in his office while doing work. Just like today, it's already 10 a.m. and he's still working in his office, so you decided to bring some dishes for him. You knocked at his office door, but didn't heard any come in, so you opened it and saw him sleeping on the sofa. You sighed, placing the tray aside and bringing a blanket for him, but as you came back, he was moving on his place and sweating. Tears started to fall from his eyes. You sat beside him, shaking his shoulder. Mr. John, wake up. He suddenly pushed you and sat up, grabbing his out. You hissed, falling down from the couch, his eyes widen. Realizing what he did, he kneeled down, helping you to get up and sit properly. Are you okay? He said, still full of sweat on his head. I'm okay. You were having a nightmare? You looked at his face. He was still calming down. You nodded, sitting properly. You can talk about it to me. I promise I'll not tell anyone about it, even Ryan. You said, but he didn't even look up. Fighting with your thoughts. I read in a book that the most dangerous thing is to fight with your own thoughts, having them with you every time, not leaving you for a second, hitting you as soon as you wake up, though they were the one who didn't let you sleep. It's scary and horrible to even imagine that could run into a human's brain, unexpected, undescribable, unwanted, and unbearable. There are many diseases which can be cured and many can't be cured, but your own thoughts can make you ill for a lifetime and doesn't even make you seem ill or pity. You went quiet, but your words made him feel weird. Once in a lifetime someone had thought this much about him. He had always thought he didn't deserve a person who will care for him. That's why God let him live alone. But after you came into his life, his thoughts started to change. Your words always make him stun and feel some unwanted feelings. He isn't able to name them until now. I have lost people who mean world to me. I have been betrayed by people whom I thought and kept them 100% with me. I gave my all to the people who didn't do shit for me, so as a result I became cold-hearted to just hide my emotions. But I can pretend from outside, but they are still in my thoughts, eating me out. His eyes were shedding tears now. You felt sad about him. You placed a pillow on your lap and petted it. He looked at you confused. Place your head here. I will not eat you. He gulped and slowly laid his head on your lap. Blinking his eyes, he felt your hands in his hair and massaged his head. Slowly he started drifting to sleep. You know this is not the right time for him to talk much. He already expressed too much. Now he needs to rest. Chung fell asleep and you also there leaning on the couch. Next day, you woke up alone. Chung already left, you thought, but suddenly he entered an office, all ready to go somewhere. He looked at you and passed a smile. What? I'm not dreaming, right? Mr. John is smiling, you thought, because he never smiled in these past months you were here. Mr. John, thanks for last night. I never had a good sleep like this before. He said with a genuine smile, and he smiled too, looking down shyly. You really have a soft and innocent heart ever I have seen. Don't you sometimes feel weak to have a soft heart? Your smile dropped and he realized he said something wrong. I think having a soft and gentle heart in a hard-skinned world is simply genius, isn't it? I think they believe in magic, although most around you have forgetting it exists. It's the stuff miracles are made of. You got up from your place and walked to leave the office, but caught your wrist. You stopped but didn't turn. He turned and leaned close to you. You felt your heartbeat increasing. He pecked your cheek, making you all blushing. I just said it because if you soft-hearted people tend to take advantage of goodness in you, sometimes your goodness make difficulties for you that I don't want to happen to my precious one. Saying this, he left, leaving you all messed up in your own thoughts now. Did he just? You gasped, covering your mouth. After a few days, you were finding Jungkook's behavior a little odd because he has changed a bit. No, not a bit, but more. He smiles awfully and eats on time. He also takes you on dinner, but not alone, with Ryan and his other members too. But he sat alone with you on a table. Not only that, he also told you to cook food for him and eat with him. Isn't it suspicious? When you're thinking about Mr. Chon's changed behavior, you flinched at hearing her voice but nodded. And I know the cause of it. What? She looked at you with stern face. You always know everything, but when it comes to you, you're such a dumb. You gave her a questionable look. She faced palm. I mean, you're the cause of it. Like, have you listened to that song? You're the cause of my euphoria. Close the door now when I'm with you. I'm in utopia. Like that, she winked at you while singing the same song again, but suddenly you started to hear the song in Jungkook's voice. I'm hallucinating too much these days. You shook your head and went behind the villa to breathe some fresh air. It was already night, but as you reached the back garden, the music started to be loud and he was singing it. You stood there listening to him. He turned to you with a bouquet of red roses in his hands. You looked at the bouquet and then him. This is for you. You again looked at him and bouquet, taking it from his hands and smelling them. Their scent is so soothing. You said but hearing his further words made you feel overwhelmed. And like these flowers scent, you became a soothing scent of my life. You know they say this kind of love is once in a lifetime, and I know you are the one for me. I offer you all of me today and for always. Thank you for showing me how it feels to be loved. He opened a ring box in front of you, making your eyes widen. When will you enter in my life permanently and make me the happiest person in the world? And let me love you from earth to the moon? You looked at him and then around you. Ryan and other house helpers were also there on the side. He gave you a thumbs up. You gulped, looking at Jungkook, who was waiting for your answer. You saw that glimpse of sincerity and happiness in his eyes. When you love a person, you accept the total person with all defects, and falling in love is always so unexpected. Suddenly it hits, and you're in love, just like it happened when I met you too. He smiled at your confession, putting the ring in your finger. He picked you up happily. Thank you so much for accepting my love. Everyone started to cheer for both of you, and suddenly Ryan yielded. Boss is important, and everyone started to say it. Jung looked at you asking permission. You nodded smiling. He leaned on you too, connecting his lip with yours. You never felt this love before. This is the best day of your life.